Hey, we're back with more about the exciting world of tripods. 3 legs, you got to have them. Right?
That's right.
There you go. Okay. Tripod's really an important. It's other than the camera, it might actually be the most important tool that a photographer needs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Used to be film. Was the second most important thing, but you don't need that anymore.
No,
really.
don't need that anymore. Other than a couple of good batteries, all you need is a tripod and a camera.
Okay. All right. Well, the science of holding cameras is still pretty much the same as it has been all along, which is again this old 3-legged beast here.
Yep.
But there's a whole lot of different options on these. So let's talk about some of the different things that we should look for, and maybe insist upon when we're looking for a new tripod.
Right. Let's first of all consider some of the features that you kind of you probably want if you're going to spend a little money on a tripod, and one of those is the kind of head that is going to be on the tripod. Now, in this particular case, this is an example, one of many different examples of what we call a ball head. And in this particular instance, the ball head, I got to get out from under the logo, the ball head pivots in all directions, and it'll actually even lay over 90 degrees to the side.
So you can do a vertical photograph.
Right,
words,
yeah.
yes.
Now, we have other ways of doing vertical photographs, but this is one of the ways to handle it.
But I've noticed you can find yourself, the cheapest tripod in the bargain bin at Target may not actually give you that option, right?
That's true. The ball head is a very popular option because it's so flexible. You can direct it in any direction and then lock it down, and it'll stay wherever you've put it. Right. So it's a nice feature. A ball head is one of the most universal. Okay.
Right.
Now, there are variations on the ball head, and I'm not going to hold this all the way up, but in this case, we've got a grip action ball head, and this is going to squeak a little, but mine has been around a long time.
It's a good thing that Gunner, the Wonder Dog, isn't in here, because he'd be looking for treats right away. That is a high-pitched dog whistle type squeal.
This thing is kind of handy because you can squeeze the grip and then redirect it to any direction on that ball. Don't you love that squeak?
Oh, that's
and then let go, and it's going to lock wherever it is.
I'm guessing you don't squirt WD-40 in that because it kind of defeats the purpose.
Well,
right?
yeah, that's just it.
Right? Yeah.
How do you lubricate it and not have it fall over?
That's right.
In any case, I could probably benefit from sending it back and having someone clean it. But
right. Now the one thing too is now this also has a little leveling thing. Not all tripods have that, right?
Right.
Can we show that point that at camera one? I don't know if
we
you'll be
can
able to
see it or not. There it is.
There it is.
This little doohickey right in here.
There you go.
Is a bubble level.
Yeah.
That will let you see when you are in fact level.
There you go. Sometimes that's important.
This kind of a thing is maybe a bit of overkill in some respects because it's going to weigh a fair amount. They also make them with a handle on the side that you can grip, and it does the same thing. It's just a side grip release.
Right. Well, what's the advantage of that is that you can set it more quickly.
Yeah, if you're... I can redirect this thing and make sure I frame my picture the way I want to, and I don't have to loosen anything, and I just grab it and move it and let go.
Right.
So it's a nice feature. There is a weight limit to how much you can put on these things. I have a SLR that has a long lens, and when I put that on there, it's just overpowering this one a little bit.
Yeah.
It wants to move a little. It doesn't hold still. So you have to be careful how much you put on.
Some of the longer lenses actually have another tripod mount. I mean, the really big ones have another tripod mount, so that you can mount it closer to the center of gravity on.
Well, that's true. Yeah, and that's the case here with the third one that we're talking about. And I don't know if this will fit on in the frame or not. Sort of does.
Sort of does.
In this case, here is a 3-way head that actually lets you loosen one handle and pivot this way. You can loosen the second handle and pivot up and down or at any angle so that you can get the vertical shot and the horizontal shot. And the third one lets you pivot up and down.
Right.
So it's a 3-way thing.
Well, the big feature here, of course, is this part, which allows you. Well, not the big feature, but it's one of. Not all tripods out of the box give you this pan head capability,
Right,
do they?
right. This is a real nice type of head. I use it a lot in a studio situation because I can set it precisely, particularly if I'm shooting product shots and things like that. I can lock it right in on exactly where I want it. The other thing that you might want to consider in any tripod that you get is what we call a quick release feature. And that's where I have a lever I can pull and the camera comes off.
Right.
And on the bottom of the camera is a plate that will allow you to then set it back up there and push down on it, and it releases the lever and it becomes locked in place.
Okay, so it's a fast on off kind of thing. So if you have to,
Right.
you know, you're shooting something on the tripod and you want to quickly grab the camera, for example, and take a picture of something moving by or whatever.
Or change
Right.
cameras if
Right.
you're one of those nuts like I am that has more than one camera with them.
Now with a still camera, now I can understand it for video, but with a still camera, why do I care about having a pan head on it? Don't I? Isn't this the idea is hold the camera still, right?
Right, but still, you set this down, get it kind of leveled up on the ground, for example, and then you want to search a little bit left and right for the best composition.
Right.
This just facilitates that. It's
Gotcha.
it's very easy to do.
You can also use that for action shots too. Somebody running or you know, race,
Yeah, if you loosen
race
this-
cars going by, that kind of thing. At least it keeps you level, and this is the only thing that moves.
That's right. And
So, yeah.
if you do this, if you loosen this one and this one, now you can actually pan and move both vertically and horizontally.
Right.
And you can put just enough tension on there that it's pretty nice. It's not like a fluid head, but it's pretty nice.
It resists it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So
just you can decide how much resistance you want.
Right.
In this particular case, we also you were talking about a lens that has the ability to pan or to turn sideways. This one has the collar on. I'm not getting into the frame. There we go.
Yeah.
This one has the collar right here that goes
Right.
on the lens,
Right.
and then I can pivot this this way without asking the tripod
Right.
head to do anything.
So there's like a ring here that you can tighten down or loosen. That's
Yeah.
what it's hard to see because everything's black.
Yeah, and on some lenses, that's an added feature that you have to pay extra for. On others, it comes with it. So depending on how long the lens is, this distributes the weight, takes the burden off of the body of the camera itself, and makes it a little bit more stable. So there is that. Then the other thing that you can do is, that you should consider, is the removable quick release plate. You can buy one of these things
Oh, okay.
and put it on any tripod.
Gotcha.
And it is just like the one I demonstrated earlier. It locks in place, but you've got a small travel tripod. You can put this on, screw this in place, and that means you can make quick switches on and off of the tripod. So
Gotcha.
if you're shooting by handheld,
Right.
and you decide you want to do a tripod shot, you can clip this in place and set it up pretty quickly.
Right. What do you look at? One thing here. This is a kind of a mid-priced one. This is by Manfrotto. What does a tripod like this run?
This one here is about what is it, $145, something like that.
Yeah. So it's a really important piece of equipment. One of the things that I'm noticing too here is that that you have these legs here.
Yep.
And you have this quick release business on the legs. I'm going to show you over on this side, and that's pretty handy. It's pretty quick. Right, but now not all tripods do it this way. And is this really pretty much the best type of system for quick use, or is there something else?
This is awful handy. I like this kind of release. It's like is on the monopod here, the same thing. There is this kind of a release an extension that you have to twist the lock and extend it, then lock it back in place.
Right.
So either way, you're going to have something that's going to require that you loosen it and then lock it down.
Right.
But you have an infinite amount of elevation that you can set this at.
But now, like on this is a less expensive type of tripod.
Yeah.
And that's got a different kind. Boy, that's fast. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I did too. The idea of it, the locking mechanism is a little BB or a little ball that protrudes through a hole, and it looks like a great idea. But my personal opinion is it's far too unpredictable. I've had situations where one of these didn't quite get locked in place or stay locked, and it came down on me.
Well,
so
I'm looking too at this. I mean, there's a lot of flex in that leg too.
Yeah.
So
This
if you're
is called-
taking pictures in an earthquake, you might have.
This is called a cheap tripod, and one that's probably not worth your consideration, because you can't tell whether it's going to stay up or not, in my experience.
And I can't get it back down.
And you can't get it back down.
Oh,
you have to get aggressive with it.
You get to smack it. Okay.
The fact of the matter is, I would counsel against, no matter how cheap this is, I would counsel against wasting your money on something that flimsy.
Now that's kind of like a desktop style, though. I mean, almost. Now, I happen to have one sitting here. Now this is a cheapie, and I really, it's fine for if you're going to use. That's it.
Yep.
But to extend
it
the
doesn't have
legs,
an extension.
if you don't extend the legs, then it's not great. This is another little device that I have seen around, and I've seen it around the studio because we have this here. But you were going to talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, this is called a Gorilla Pod. It comes in different weight capabilities.
Okay.
This one is probably for a point and shoot camera. They do come with a little bit more substantial legs that will hold more weight. But you can take this and wrap it around anything, a post or anything else, and it's going to hang on, and it'll hold on to whatever you decide to latch it onto.
Like a branch or something else. So it's handy for a quick shot like that. Or,
just have to be careful how much you ask it to hold.
Right. So small little point and shoot cameras, little video cameras like this one here are also good.
The version that holds a DSLR apparently does it quite well. So there is you just those that are that substantial run around $50, I understand.
Right.
These go down to as little as $20 for the least expensive.
And then there's something else called a bean bag.
Yeah, we can talk about a bean bag. That's just another way of stabilizing things.
We don't have a picture of one here, but we maybe will pull one.
But there's a bean bag that is literally a bean bag in one case where you just rest the lens and the camera on a bean bag and it'll hold it still on a table or something like that. The other version of that actually has a mount that the camera mounts onto, and then you set it down and it'll hold it in place.
Sounds like a bean bag. I mean, you could make that with a bag of, go buy yourself some beans and make one.
You could do that.
Simple.
The one with the mount on it is a little
more technically
trickier.
advanced, right? Okay.
And lastly, one of the things I think we ought to just make clear, here's one of these things that you twist a leg, pull it out, and it's pretty sturdy, but it still has its limitations. The thing on all tripods that you want to try to have available for those macro shots and things like that is an adjustment that lets you turn the legs out further and get you closer to the ground. In this case, I can splay these legs out pretty far, and it gets you a little closer to the ground. So you can,
and it's more stability too, actually. If you do
and then you can take that ball head, turn it down, and the camera's now pointing down with the lens out here, pointing down at a small item that you're trying to use the macro lens for.
So cool. All right. Well, we're going to be back in just a minute. We're going to talk about another form of photographic stability. Should we call that? Is that the good term? And when we come back here on What's Wrong with This Picture, so stay with us.
Have a question or a comment for Dennis Guillaume? Get in touch at picture@rvnn.tv, and don't forget to send us your RVing pictures for possible use on an upcoming episode. You can also leave a voicemail for Dennis at 877-578-RVNN, extension 704. Follow RV Newsnet on Facebook and Twitter, and you can receive text messages to alert you when we're streaming live by texting RVNN to 72727. That way, you can join us live in the chat room, ask questions, and become part of the RV Newsnet family. Remember, any photos or other material submitted to us become the property of RV Newsnet and cannot be returned. Today's show is brought to you by Angie's List, where you'll find thousands of unbiased reports and reviews about service companies in your area. Whether you're looking for a roofer, plumber, house cleaner, dentist, or even a doctor, Angie's List members share their experiences with each other so that you can choose the service company that's right for your job. Companies can't pay to be on Angie's List, and the reviews come from people just like you who have had experience with the companies mentioned. To find out more, go to rvnn.tv and click on the Angie's List ad.